Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige Imprint, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. Another week, y'all. We are here and we are ready to lock in for book club. Are you ready? Have you read your assigned reading? Have we done all the things? Because you know book club is mandatory. I'm so glad you're here. Happy Wednesday if you're listening on release day, or happy whatever day it is. I had a whole other episode planned this evening, and then I kind of got a wild hair. There were tons of comments on 2 episodes ago, my Q&A episode. I did a little portion on perfectly hyped and underhyped books from a few of my favorite authors, and people seem to really enjoy that. And so we're going to do an entire episode of underhyped books. Yes. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be so fun. There are so many books that I want to talk about. So many books that I think deserve far more love than they are getting. As you know, as a creator, I'm a book recommender, not a book reviewer. So I do keep my account 100% positive. You'll never find me talking about overrated books by any means. And when I say underrated, I just mean they are not getting the love that they deserve. I do not mean that they're not good. I don't mean that there's any reason that they are not getting the love they deserve. Underrated is by no means meant in a derogatory way. I just want to shine some more light on these stars. So I think it's going to be very fun. I do read a lot of indie authors. I would say probably 75% of the books I read are indie. To anyone who does not know, indie means that the book is independently published by the author. There are a lot of ways that can be done, but to put it simply, they're just not releasing their book through a traditional publisher. So the other side of publishing is, people will call it trad publishing or traditional publishing, and that is going through a publishing house. So neither of them is better or worse, right or wrong. It kind of is up to the preference of the author in many ways, how they want to put the books out into the world. There are some authors who have some series that are indie, some that are trad. It's really just whatever suits them best. It makes most sense for them. So I say that because indie authors do the majority of the marketing on their own, whereas maybe a traditional publisher might have more resources. That's not always the case, but from my perspective and my understanding, that is the case. And so I'm really excited to talk today about a few books that I just really love and want to give more hype to and kind of help promote them. So the majority of them will be independently published, if not all of them. Yeah, let's go with the majority. I think that's what we're going to go with. So I don't even know where to begin. In that last episode, I did like some of my frequent flyers. So I do think I'm going to stick to that and expand upon that today. I think that would be a good place to start and a good place to go. So, let me look at my shelves and make a choice. I say this every time, but I do want to reiterate, this podcast is very much so off the dome. I feel as though, so I grew up doing public speaking and I do very well off of a script, but scripts feel very scripted. And because I am so used to reading off a script, I try not to script the podcast or over research them because I feel like it boxes me in. Sometimes I come in with bullets. Sometimes I just come in like I am today with a hope, a prayer, and a dream. And so when I'm like, let me think about it, or I don't know, and you're like, this is a podcast, why haven't you researched it? I don't want to, okay? I just want to come here and have a silly, goofy time and talk about books. This is book club. It's not school. This isn't a test. Let me live, okay? Let's start with Catherine Cowles because I talk about her all the time, and I do feel like her entire Tattered and Torn series is criminally underrated. It is so phenomenal, and it is so out of the box in comparison to the rest of her series, I feel. So we have the Sparrowfall series that's being currently released, and then the series before that is the Lost and Found series. Roman Empire series for me, it is fantastic, and I feel like it gets the love it deserves. It is so good. I also feel like Sparrow Falls gets the love it deserves. But the series that she released before that is the Tattered and Torn series, and it is just so interesting because if you haven't heard me talk about it, I'm going to do a quick rundown and then we'll talk about like why. If you have not read Catherine's books, you wouldn't know this, but if you have, you do. Catherine always starts her books with a prologue, kind of giving a backstory of the suspense to some level. It's usually set in the past, and it usually gives an insight into the conflict to some extent. And so the very first prologue of the very first book details the kidnapping of a young girl by this man, and this man's daughter saving the girl. She rides into town to the sheriff's department on horseback to notify them that her father, who's part of this extremist doomsday cult, has kidnapped a girl, and he kidnapped her. His reasoning was that he was trying to save her from the world and kind of bring her into this cult, if you will. And the entire series is kind of informed by that experience that that little girl had. And her book is the final book in that series. But the way that her kidnapping informed the experience of that entire family. And I feel like a lot of Catherine's series, and I love this, have very idealistic families and found family and just like a beautiful mother and the hilarious grandmother and all of that good stuff. But Tattered and Torn is not that way. The mother of this family that the entire series is about is very much so broken and misguided by that experience, and the way that that affects the entire family is so fascinating. It's just such an interesting and different spin to read from Catherine, and I felt that it was so good. But again, the last book in that series, Fractured Sky, is about the daughter who is kidnapped and her love story and her discovering who she is on her own without the protectiveness of her family. And I feel as though that book is so underrated. I think it is one of Catherine's best books. The characters are extremely unique because the FMC was so sheltered after that experience, and obviously additionally traumatized by that experience. Right, yeah, same. Like, I would have been too. Like, I think Catherine did a really good job of unraveling the trust there and her willingness to trust the MMC. And then on the flip side, the MMC, ex-convict and a recluse and a grump, he owns and operates a horse sanctuary, and he takes in abused horses essentially and trains them and works with them. And he's a very gentle man and extremely misunderstood. And so both of them form kind of an unlikely friendship in both of their efforts to reacclimate to the world. And it is beautiful. And I really, really loved their internal monologues, because I truly felt like I knew and understood both of them by the end of this story. Like, I just think Catherine did such a great job of detailing their experience. And then the entire series as a whole, there is a like thread throughout about this extremist cult, and the FMC in the third book escapes it, and like she is an adult that has escaped this religious cult and is trying to recover from it. It's just a unique, different perspective from Catherine, but the same Catherine Cowell's romantic suspense caliber. So if you have read the Sparrow Falls series, if you have read Lost and Found, I could not urge you more to continue on moving backwards into the Tattered and Torn series. It is so unique, different. It gives a different feel, but I loved it. So yes, that is my underrated pick from Catherine. Keeping on the romantic suspense train with Samantha Young. I feel like Samantha is best known for her On Dublin Street series. She's releasing a second generation series of the On Dublin Street series children, which is super, super fun. But I feel like her Adair Family series is underhyped. I have not read her backlist in its entirety. I've read the Adair Family, The Highlands, and On Dublin Street. My mom, however, is a big Samantha Young fan and has read so much of her backlist, and she keeps saying like, you're gonna love this. So I can't wait to keep going back, because my mom is flying through Samantha's backlist and is loving it. So shout out to my mom, and shout out to Samantha Young. But I really do feel like Samantha Young's Adair Family series is top tier romantic suspense as well, set in the Scottish Highlands. on a luxury estate for the film and television industry. It's a members only estate. Only members of the film and television industry can be a part of this, and it's kind of a vacation spot. Think like a fancy country club in the Scottish Highlands. It's like a day spa, rest and relaxation type thing. Really fascinating. So that's kind of the setting of this world. And then the entire series follows the 5 Adair siblings. I think the first book, Here With Me, I always recommend it to people. I think that it is just a really great romantic suspense read. He's a retired actor, and he has moved back to his home in Scotland. Mind you, this estate used to be their childhood home. It's a castle, but the castle was very run down when they lived there, and he has bought it and since revitalized it, turned it into what it is today. So keep that in mind. But his bodyguard has moved with him. His bodyguard is maybe, let's say, 3 or 4 years older than him, but his bodyguard has a daughter that he had when he was 16 years old. There's a 16-year age difference, 17-year age difference between him and his daughter. And there is a 13-year age difference between the MMC and the daughter. So the daughter still lives in the States. She is a police officer until she is shot in the line of duty, recovers from that, and realizes she does not want to, A, continue being a police officer, and B, continue life not knowing her father. And so she goes to Scotland seeking a relationship with her father, and in many ways resents the MMC, Lachlan, for taking her father from her. And you ultimately find out that that is not at all what happened, and it's really devastating, actually. But there's a very intense dislike, if not hate to love, element of this story where she resents him deeply. The FMC Robin resents the MMC Lachlan very deeply because she feels as though he took her father from him. And he doesn't love that she came in guns a-blazing. Well, Lachlan has a stalker, and the stalker has been a nuisance, but now is an actual threat. Very early on in the book, quickly after Robin arrives on scene. And then, shortly after that, the stalker attacks Mac, her father, his bodyguard, and Mac is hospitalized. And so she's like, I am staying and I am figuring out who this stalker is because it has affected my dad, my family. I want to be here for him, so on and so forth. And so she does. And she's trying to uncover this case. And he doesn't really want her digging into this, but they also need to find the stalker. It's really fascinating. And the unknown subject, the bad guy, was so unexpected. It was a really fun read, and it just leads into a string of books that are really phenomenal. I think the Highland series is fantastic too. You do get cameos from a ton of the Adair family, if not all of them. So I always recommend reading the Adair family first. It's not required, but I actually read the Highland series first. I was like, who are these people? And so I got to go back and read their stories, and it's just so good. So that I cannot recommend the Adair family series more. Samantha will be releasing a brand new romantic suspense series later on this year, set in the Scottish Isles. I'm so thrilled to be back in a Samantha romantic suspense era. Now, she's crushing this on Dublin Street Second Gem. The first book, On Lover's Lane, it was really phenomenal. Both of the leads in that book found their way onto my top MMC and FMC spots. I just think that it was beautifully deep, beautifully done. It really can't be encapsulated into tropes. I loved it. I really did. So Samantha is crushing, taking names, doing all the incredible things as of late. And I am so grateful to support her and be a fan of hers. And I know my mom is too. So yes, that is Samantha Young. Let's switch gears because y'all know that I could talk about romantic suspense all day, every day. And I likely will be. No, not even likely will. I absolutely will be looping back. So let's do a hybrid series. How about that? Because I can never quite let go of romantic suspense. Victoria Wilder. She is currently absolutely blowing it out of the water with the Bourbon Boys series, as she should. As she should, because that series is so great. But her series before that is called the Riggs Family series, and it is so good. So good. So good. So interesting. It follows 4 siblings whose family owns an outdoors company. Think like REI or maybe even Bass Pro Shop. I'm not exactly sure, but it's like an outdoor goods company. Okay. The series follows each of them kind of finding their place in the family business, finding love. Some of them land in the family business, some of them don't. They are engaging, they are spicy, they are really strong developmentally from a character perspective. I feel as though I say it every episode, but it's really true. Victoria Wilder has the ability to write a female lead in a way that is so raw and real and relatable and different. Her FMCs are infused with so much life and tenacity and strength. I don't know how else to explain it. And her MMCs are phenomenal too. I mean, Lincoln Fox from Bourbon and Secrets, the second book in the Bourbon Boys series, is a top MMC of all time for me. Victoria is just a star, but her FMCs in particular, if you like a Willa Grant, if you like a Jules Ambrose, if you like a strong, independent, funny, witty, intelligent FMC, you need to read Victoria Wilder. Every single one of her FMCs hits that way for me. But in particular, as you all may know, but it is absolutely, completely, and utterly underrated, is Hidden Peak. G. The FMC in Hidden Peak is just unmatched, unreal, phenomenal. Our FMC and MMC have an evening together, not a spicy evening together. They just get to know one another while she is working at her family's bar, and they agree to meet the next day to go on a date. Well, she goes home and ultimately ends up in a situation that lands her in the witness protection program. That very evening, he meets where they're supposed to meet for their date. He desperately tries to find her, and she never shows. Not only that, he continues to return to New York trying to find this woman because, dare I say, love at first sight? Dare I say soulmates? Dare I say fated mates? Like, he just knew in his gut and in his soul that this was the woman for him, and he wanted to find her. She's heartbroken. She's devastated. Years later, she is placed in this small town, and she's pursuing her dreams. She is becoming a tattoo artist. Sure, she is a tattoo artist at this time. She makes friends with his sister, unknowingly. Makes friends with his sister. And his sister's like, oh, I'm going to my brother's engagement party. Do you want to come with me as my plus one? Like, let's be friends. It's hard to make friends. Like, yes. So she goes with him. And whose engagement party is it but the man from all these years ago? And so what's so interesting about this book is in the first book, you see that the two of them seemingly butt heads, fight like cats and dogs, bicker, but like the tension is so heavy. And so we're going back in time, gaining an understanding of their past. And what happens is she's like, I cannot form a romantic relationship with you. I cannot set roots down in this town. So I either need to leave now, or it'll be easier to pretend to hate you than falling in love with you. And they agree to that. And so they decide to hate each other because they feel so deeply for each other. That's kind of a way of expressing that, if that makes sense. Like, what is the opposite of love if not hate? And so they do. And that's the perspective that you're seeing all throughout the first book. And then you get a glimpse of it in the second book. But it's like, it is a show. It is a disguise. It is an illusion. Like, it's everything but hate. And the tension is so good. And then is a romantic suspense because she was placed in the witness protection program, mind you. And all of that catches up to her. And he's former military, he's a pilot, and so he whisks her away and helps her escape. If you remember B from Bourbon and Lies, if you've read that series, Lainey's Witsec handler is the same for G. So you get to see B again, and that is so fun. So anywho, they fall in love. It's best friend's brother. It's second chance. It's love to hate the love, but also just like love all the way. The tension is so good. It is a top read of all time for me, and it is so underrated. I love, 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 love it. Y'all, I get so parched filming these. I'm just yapping. Nobody's surprised. She can't be quiet. But man, girl needs water. Let's switch out of romantic suspense gear, shall we? And let's move to Queen of My Heart, Molly Goins. Molly, adore you. You know that. For anyone who doesn't know, I work for Molly. She's one of my lovely business management clients. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I have an author services business. I help authors manage their businesses. I do literally everything but social media. It's just so funny because obviously I do social media here. But I really love what I do for authors. It's so much fun for me. It's like business strategy, business planning, data analytics, budgeting, communication. Like, I'm not kidding when I say anything but social media. So, adore you, Molly. I'm going to digress, though. Molly is currently releasing a series called The Boston Blues. It is so good. The first book is out now called Picture Us. And the book before that is called Despite It All. And I think Picture Us and Despite It All are so beautifully, perfectly, wonderfully hype. They're both baseball romances. It is just so, they're so well done. The maturity of these relationships is really refreshing to read and watch and learn from. And her FMCs are really, really relatable to me. I don't know what it is. She just writes women that I relate to so deeply. Her MMCs are dreamy. Jet Ellison from Despite It All is an all-time top MMC for me. But today, I want to talk about Bring It All, which is the second book in her Aster Creek series. Her debut series is called Aster Creek, and it's actually out now on audio. And the audio performances are so good, y'all. So if you have not read them yet and you are an audio or immersive person, highly recommend the audio experience. But the second book in particular, y'all are going to eat up. It is so good. So what it's about is our MMC is a police officer, and he is also slowly becoming the guardian of his niece because his sister is maybe lacks the responsibility and drive and initiative to be the mother that his niece deserves, let's say. And so he has taken it upon himself to help raise her. And our FMC is her teacher. She is also the police chief's daughter. And an incident many, many years ago has led her to strongly dislike our MMC. And because of that and the way she kind of like treats him and responds to him, he responds in kind. So they have this like really strong dislike to love, bickery relationship. This story is so well plotted. I love the cadence of it. What I really love is that it is a dislike to love, but the moment he decides that he's wrong about her, he's all in. You don't have to watch or experience the will we won't we of it all, which I really, really appreciate. It was just like, okay, I was wrong about you. Much like Cash, I feel like I've talked about this multiple times by Jessica Peterson, where it's like the humility to be wrong. Like, I was wrong about you. I am so sorry. In fact, you enamor me. In fact, you've bewitched me. In fact, I like you and I was wrong. Like, I'm all about those moments. Y'all know this. So really love that. Really love the single guardian dynamic. Really love her stepping up to the plate for his niece. Check your trigger warnings on this book. Check your trigger warnings on all of the books, please. Every book I recommend. I am so grateful that people blindly trust my recommendations. However, I could not implore you more to please always check your trigger warnings. Do a little read through of the synopsis. Maybe, dare I say, even read some reviews and make sure that the book will be in alignment with your enjoyment. because a little research could save you a lot of heartbreak on the back end. And even if 9 out of 10 books that I recommend to you are going to be a absolute home run, I would much rather you just spend a little extra time researching to save you the heartache, because something that might not bother me might bother you, and vice versa. So anyway, that's for every book. But yes, check trigger warnings, of course, because this book's a little bit heavier than her other stuff. I digress. Really great story. The whole series is really, really great. It's just a classic, sweet, small town, and it's refreshing, as always. I think that Molly's books, if they're anything, are refreshing. They're great summer reads. They're great poolside reads, beach reads, feel good, happy, lovely. So, and I'm not just saying that because I work for her. I really do adore you and adore your work. Let's do, speaking of Single Guardian, I cried over this book 2 episodes ago, so I'm going to keep it together in a jam by Kate Canterbury. I just think that this story is so good. Our FMC is left at the altar. It's very sad. She's quite bummed. But 2 weeks later, she gets the living will and testament of her grandmother or great aunt. Couldn't remember. And as you know, we're off the top of the dome here. And it states that she must move back to the tulip farm that she grew up on in the small town she went to high school in, and not only manage it and run it, but she also has to be married for a year in order to inherit this tulip farm. And so she gets there and she ends up going next door because there are some trucks parked in her driveway, and she goes to tell them to move. But turns out the guy who owns the farm next door is but her high school best friend, and he has had the most insane glow up of all time. Apparently he is hot, and bless him, it actually is a very beautiful plot point, is his frustration with the way people have treated him since he has changed physically. And I think it's beautiful. Like, I think that plot point in that story, especially from the male perspective, is so underexplored and so well done in this book. So love that. And she's like, what are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing here? And so it comes to be that he's a former lawyer, but she does have to get married to inherit this. And he's like, I don't know if that's legit, but I'll marry you. I'll do it. And he's a single guardian of his niece. His sister is currently serving a sentence in prison. You will find out why. It's not actually a huge part of the story. Like, the why she went to prison, it's not a huge part of the story. Her being in prison is, but so they get married, and come to find out, he has loved her forever. And I say this every time I talk about the book, but you genuinely do not understand the extent of forever until you get to the last 10% of this book. Like, the way he loves her. He is the quiet love sort. He is grumpy. It's very Grumpy Sunshine. It is my ultimate comfort read. It is the book that made me fall in love with reading, as you know, and it is so underrated. Please read it. I just find it to be so lovely. I am going to be rereading it in July for my 2-year reading anniversary. I started reading in July of 23, and then I read it again in July of 24, so now I'm going to read it for the 3rd time in July of 25. I think that's going to be my tradition. And I am itching to read it again. I want to listen to it on audio. I did audio last time, and I just think the audio is phenomenal. So I'm so excited to do my reread. It's just my comfort read. That is in a jam. Let's do Maggie Gates, yes. Maggie has so many incredible stories. Her most recent and popular series, I believe, is the Griffith Brothers series, and rightfully so. Cowboy romance, really unique cowboy romance. Really unique characters, unique storylines. Love it. The underrated book from her, and everyone who's read it, I genuinely believe loves it, is What Saves Us. Oh, it is everything. It is everything to me. It is so good. Throughout the series, you kind of watch our MMC fall for one of his best friend's little sisters, and he has just evidently been enamored with her, and she has had little interest, or it's not even from what I remember, little interest so much as it is her attention is elsewhere. And she ultimately is pregnant, not his baby. In fact, she is in grad school and it is a professor's baby. Uh-oh, not good, very bad, but that's okay. She's going to rock the single mom thing, and she's going to do this by herself. Well, early in the book, she's actually been pregnant in the previous book. And so early in this book, she goes into labor at home and calls the EMTs, and our MMC is an EMT, and he responds to the scene and ultimately helps birth her child right then and there. From the moment this sweet girl is born, Shane, the MMC, is like, those are my girls. They're everything for me. And he is a beautiful testament of showing up for mom. Yes, he loves that baby, but he shows up for her time and time again throughout the postpartum experience and throughout her being extremely overwhelmed as a single mom. And I think everyone is trying to do everything for the baby, but he is focused on her. And I am not a mother, so I can't speak to this firsthand, but I can imagine that being a mom is extremely difficult, obviously, especially postpartum. All of the hormones, all of the changes. Your life is no longer only yours. Your heart is now outside of your body. Like, everything that you once knew changed in a matter of moments when your child is born. And then everyone in your life is deeply enamored with and excited about and thrilled about the baby and worried about the baby. And it's your life that has changed forever. It's all the baby has known, but it is you who is going through this change. And I think Shane steps up to that plate in such a beautiful way. He is also a veteran. He also suffers deeply with PTSD. He's also sober after struggling with alcohol addiction. And his perspective, his POV, his internal monologue is such a testament to the fight it takes every day. The way we get to experience his fight, his strength, his hope is so beautiful. It is a romantic suspense, but he just beautifully embodies, I think, what it looks like for a man to be a support system for a woman and a mom and a family, and to step into that role. And it is so underrated. I'm due for a reread. I haven't reread this one yet. I've only reread 3 books ever, mind you. So he is a top MMC of all time. I'm listing all of them essentially at this point. What would this episode be if I didn't talk about Sarah A. Bailey's backlist and Pacific Shores? Pacific Shores, beautifully, perfectly hyped. Wicked and Wildflower. It's everything to me. And we know this. This is nothing new. But her series before that is so great. I talk about The Fate Philosophy a lot, which is the second book. But her first book, The Soulmate Theory, is just equally as great. It is like a childhood friends, but they were both in love with each other, but neither of them knew. Oh, punch me in the gut. Punch me in the gut. To strangers, to coworkers. And the forced proximity, the rediscovery of one another, his evident deep love for her, and everything that she is, and everything that she thinks she is, and who he knows she is. It's beautiful. She is a perfectionist to her core, which felt a little personal to me. She feels the need to earn the things that she's been given as an adopted daughter. And he believes that she is completely and utterly incredible. And it's beautiful. Like, it really, really is. I love this story. I love their characters. I think they're really, really unique characters. I love, yet again, the human experience on paper in words that Sarah does just so beautifully and well. If you're in the mood to feel something, I always recommend Sarah's books, because I think no matter who you are, you can find a bit of yourself somewhere in her writing. And I think that that's a really human, wonderful experience. Love, 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 love that book. More to come on that. I think another underrated book is His Greatest Muse by Hannah Cowan. I think everyone that loves it, but more of y'all need to love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, more of y'all need to read it so that you can love it. They're childhood friends, and they are now roommates, and they've like done everything together, and they're just like, they're best friends. But he's loved her forever. But he's also morally gray. He's also just looking at the world from a different lens than the rest of us. He's a rock star. He's very possessive. He is very jealous. He's very in love with her. More than in love. He's consumed by her. He lives and breathes her. if you will. And she is his best friend. And he is ready for her to lock in, to accept that they are the end and the beginning and everything in between. His resolve has snapped. And again, he's morally a gray rock star. She is a boxer. And so he aligns his tour schedule so that they can travel together on his tour bus, and it will stop at all of her matches. And so the forced proximity, just the darkness that is Noah Hutton, unreal. I'm talking tattoos. I'm talking piercings. I'm talking run. That's the microtrope. He says, run. You see what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down? Yeah. And she can fight. Like, a girl who can fight? Fantastic. Give me 14 of them right now. So it's not that people don't love the book. It's that more of you need to love the book. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's the case with all of these. Another one is a book called Wrath of Love by Vanessa Stock. It is a motorcycle club and mafia romance. So he is from a motorcycle club family. She is from a mafia family. And it is a Greek mythology retelling. So all the characters are loosely inspired by Greek gods and goddesses, which is really, really interesting. So she comes from this mafia family. He comes from this motorcycle club family. He is in business with her brother. They own a nightclub together. And her brother is unexpectedly killed. Very mysterious, very odd, very public, very weird. And kind of like a peace treaty for protection and alliance, she is betrothed to our MMC's brother. Yeah. And so she is sent to live at this motorcycle club compound. And she is falling for this guy who knows her brother, and she wants to avenge her brother's death, and he also wants to avenge her brother's death, but she's betrothed to his brother. And I mean, it's brutal, it's angsty, it's like, it's dark. The suspense is unreal. Every time I thought I knew what was going on, I didn't. If you're looking for a fluffy romance, if you're looking for a standard romance, this is not the one. This does have like love triangle elements to it, and as you all know, I avoid the love triangle like the plague. The way that Vanessa did this, I genuinely felt as though there was no other way for it to be done. For this story to progress, for it to continue on, I genuinely felt like the way that she unraveled this, it was how it had to happen. So check your trigger warnings, do a little research before you dive in, because it just might not be the story for you. But for me, as someone who usually is like absolutely not on the love triangles, this was it. And I'm not talking about it enough. And I think that's going to be it. Those are a few of my underrated reads I really, really love. I think you would love too. And yeah, I can always do a part 2 of this episode if you would ever like for me to. I'm always open to episode suggestions. So if there's an episode you would like for me to do, literally just holler, give me a call, shoot me a DM. There's nothing I love more. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you all do for me, because I feel really grateful, and it is my honor to recommend books to you. I mean, what a cool job. So thank you for everything as always. I love and adore you all. I hope you are having a great day, a great week, a great month. Thank you as always for spending your time with me. I'll see you in the next one.